Lesson 7. The Colourful Treasure. It is not a single story, but a collection of short stories of 7 different people who did good deeds, be it small or big, in their lives and are the chosen ones by the ultimate superior, God. The Almighty brought such wonderful people into this world and watched them closely as how they touched other people's lives. Each one's deed is accounted for with the superior. In a small, happy-go-lucky town, there lived a small and bubbly girl called Violet. Her parents had died when she was very young. She was looked after by some of her neighbors. She used to do small household chores for them, and they in return gave her food and shelter. One day, she saw 2 undernourished cows roaming about. Their owner had abandoned them, considering them useless as they could not produce enough milk for selling. Violet decided to look after them and nurse them. She looked after the cows well and nourished them. Slowly, the cows got back their health. Cows were very happy with Violet, and in return, they blessed her with unlimited flow of milk. She started selling the milk and earned her living. The excess milk she used to give the poor and the needy free of cost. They blessed her and enjoyed the fruits of her good deeds. In a far-off village, there lived twin brothers, Indigo and Blue. Their father had great cosmic therapeutic powers. He used to cure people of their ailments. These powers were gifted to him by God. He groomed his sons well and inculcated all these powers in them by making them yearn for it. He taught them that one has to have a keen desire to be able to feel the cosmic powers with receiving attitude. When he died, his work was overtaken by his sons. They also believed in God and the good deeds. They also cured the people of their ailments like their father did and accepted whatever the people gave them in return of their own will. They never demanded anything from the people as their fee. People came to them from far-off areas and got cured. They used to bless them for their good deeds. On the outskirts of a not-so-famous town lived Mrs. Green. She was a rich lady. She owned large acres of land. She was a widow. Her husband had died in an accident. This had very adverse effect on her and she came to know the reality of life. She had to know that life is not permanent. It can deceive any time. Only the good deeds done by a person are remembered by the world. Properties and money become useless when one is no more in the world. So, she decided to do something good for her town. She decided to take up the challenge of changing the face value of her town. She hired some poor farmers and with their assistance started cultivating the land. All of them worked very hard in spite of the worst weather conditions. The returns were as anticipated. The conditions started improving. The profits were evenly distributed amongst all. This improved the living conditions of the poor farmers and their families. They all blessed Mrs. Green for her good deeds. Close to the river lived a young widow named Yellow. She became a widow when she was only 20 years old. Her family had abandoned her, considering her as the curse in the family. She was rendered helpless. But she did not lose her faith in God. She did deep thinking sitting by the riverside. Suddenly, she remembered that she was a good swimmer. She could swim in the river, collect the shells, and sell them to make her living. She thanked God for the idea and she thanked her dead father who taught her swimming. She used to go to the river and collect the shells. She used to decorate them and made ornaments with shells and sold them in the market. She earned good money from it. She used to keep aside some money for abandoned animals and used to feed them. She even constructed a shelter for the abandoned and sick animals. She was like a savior for them and always showered her compassion and affection on the underprivileged ones. In a big city, there lived a young girl, Orange. As the name suggests, she was always full of zest and zeal for life. She was always ready to help others at any cost. She was a photographer. She married a young nobleman and gave birth to a son. She inculcated all the good qualities in her son. They groomed their child so well that he turned out to be a very sensitive and an intelligent boy. Like his mother, he always wanted to help the mankind in any form. He always worked for the poor and the underprivileged. One day, he met with an accident and lost his life. The dreams of Orange were shattered at one go. He was their only son and hope. They were totally broken. But Orange did not lose hope. She decided to keep her son alive. She decided to donate all the vital organs of his son to the needy ones. She told her husband that in this way they would be able to keep their son alive in other human bodies. So, they donated his organs and a couple of needy people got benefited from this act of theirs. In a remote area, an unwed mother had abandoned her child to escape the humiliation and wrath from the world. Nobody came forward to accept the baby. An old man took the baby with him. He himself was abandoned by his children. He knew how it felt to be abandoned and ignored. So he took the baby with him to his old age home. This old man had started an old age home for the abandoned old people, where he provided them shelter and food. He had spent all he had with him for this old age home. Now he wondered what to call this teeny-weeny, not so beautiful baby. He gave him a name that came to his mind first, and it was Everybody at old age home loved Red. They looked after him well. Grandmothers dressed him, fed him, and looked after his needs. Grandfathers played with him all the time. They wanted him to grow up early so that they could see him how he looked grown up before they die. They did not want him to miss anything. He had become their hope. He had filled up their colorless lives with colors of happiness and hope. They had forgotten all the miseries and problems of their lives in the presence of that small child. Red had changed the way they lived. This not so beautiful child had become the hero for all the elderly people at the old age home and spread around so much happiness and contentment that the elderly people forgot their own problems and longed to be with him all the time. Now, we can see how people had fought against the odd waves of time and circumstances. They had not only brightened their lives, but spread the light of happiness and hope in others' lives also. They helped the people living in dark shadows to come in the sunlight and enjoy the brightness. They gave pleasure to the people who were deprived of it. They brought smile to the faces of big, small, and the elderly people. They drenched their lives with shadows of love and affection. Just think over it. If this is the effect of their individual efforts, then what if they all are put together? It would lead to a beautiful and a mesmerizing rainbow of happiness and trust. Ever wondered why people say that there is always a treasure at the end of the rainbow?